That's right. It's a road game, but we always feel at home. Down here in Mobile at the Senior Bowl. Already went through day one yesterday. Very excited you guys could join us. David Cohn, our 8-foot-tall co-host, former Michigan quarterback, is under a travel ban right now.
Where are you?
Wife, Darby Lou, but he's back in Nashville holding it down for the boys. It's me and Blaine here on the road. David, what's up, man?
What's up, man? I'm under NCAA sanctions right now, road ban, but it'll be all right. I'll hold it down.
Yeah, well, there seems to be a lot of that going around, but just because you're not here doesn't mean that we don't get probably our favorite way to start the morning, the cold open fun fact of the day from David Cohn.
Beat me up, Scotty.
You want a fun fact? Man, you guys will like this one. We got to fact check this one. I couldn't believe it. With the 49ers and Chiefs having no Alabama players on their active roster, a remarkable streak will continue. No player who finished college at Alabama has scored a point in a Super Bowl.
Wait, say that again slower.
No player who finished college at Alabama, so that doesn't include Jalen Hurts.
That just seems false.
Has scored a point in a Super Bowl. I think we need to fact check that one.
That just off the cuff. That's a real thing. How does that happen?
I started thinking. First off, I thought Joe Namath, Bart Starr, like a lot of quarterback action, but I don't.
I thought the fun fact was going to be this has been the first time in like the last 130 years that neither team's had an Alabama player.
I can't think of an Alabama player that scored in the Super Bowl.
Devontae Smith didn't score.
No,
for the Eagles.
No,
that's wild, David. That is legitimately wild.
There you go.
That is truly a fun fact. We want to know in the chat. We want to know if anybody can think of one, because I can't, David. It's like James Carville said on Old School, man. That's perfect. But speaking of something that isn't perfect, the NCAA is possibly investigating Tennessee over NIL. Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson chooses to stay to wait for the right job, and we're going to recap everything in a loaded day one of the Senior Bowl. Like I said, we may be on the road, but you're always at home with Crane & Company. Now, if you haven't heard, it came out yesterday that Tennessee could be facing potential major violations from the NCAA due to their NIL collective because of some promiscuous behavior with the new quarterback Nico Lamalolavea. Well, here's what I would do if I was Tennessee. Number one, go kick rocks. The NCAA is losing their power. They're Hans Gruber hanging off the side of the building, asking Bruce Willis, please just don't kick me off as we ride into the sunset. How can you enforce rules? Because, to be honest with you, I don't think there's any rules when it comes to NIL. But how could you enforce rules retroactively when there were no rules in place to start with? We've seen this happen to Florida. We've seen this happen to Florida State. Now, it is attached to the collective, the Spire group. So this isn't like the old school, level 1 violations that you could get. This is purely attached to the entity that is the NIL collective. But as we know, the NCAA is losing power by the second. And how ironic would it be that Tennessee, a team coming off of having to self-report the whole Jeremy Pruitt situation with the NCAA, could end up being the death knell when it comes to the NCAA and college football? Because I don't really think Charlie Baker and his group of mistake makers understand what they just stepped in. But if I'm Josh Heupel, if I'm anybody associated with the Tennessee program, even including the fans, I'm not worrying about this one. Because at the end of the day, if you shelter your kids, you can't be upset when they go nuts when they leave. And that's exactly what happened with NIL and the NCAA. And they're out the door anyway. So we'll see how it goes. David Cohn, former Michigan quarterback, going to bring him in, want his thoughts on that. My brother, former Western State, Colorado wide receiver, Blaine Crane. David, not to get too deep into the nuts and bolts of it, to make it somewhat simplified for our audience, there's been no notice of allegations. And unlike your alma mater and recent national champion, Michigan, I don't see the commissioner of the conference suspending the coach, Greg Sankey, there'd have to be video evidence of Josh Heupel getting caught red-handed with the president of Tennessee somehow partaking in this for there to be a preemptive suspension without an NOA. But I will say what I continue to say and what I said about Michigan. If I'm Tennessee, I'm pointing at the NCAA and saying, I dare you to do something. I dare you to do something because they are losing all their power. Will this bear fruit in a negative side for Tennessee, or is this just the NCAA trying to have one last flash in the pan as they ride off into the sunset, hopefully, with college football?
Well, of course, there's no notice of allegations officially, Jake. Why do that now when you could do that 3 years from now and have it drop on signing day to hurt Tennessee even worse? I mean, that's probably where we're headed. I thought the response from Tennessee to the NCAA was spot on, because immediately when I saw this, I thought, will someone please tell the NCAA that student athletes get paid now? What exactly are the rules? This is the same thing we asked when it came to Michigan. It's the same thing we asked when it came to LSU players not being able to play because they signed autograph. And that statement from Tennessee was, the leaders of intercollegiate athletics owe it to student athletes and their families to establish clear rules to act in their best interest. Instead, 2.5 years of vague and contradictory NCAA memos and emails about name, image, and likeness have created extraordinary chaos that student athletes and institutions are struggling to navigate. In short, the NCAA is failing. And that's the best statement in this whole thing. The NCAA is failing. And when we saw the College Football Playoff Committee be asked, hey, what are you going to do about this investigation and these sanctions possibly with the University of Michigan? The College Football Playoff Committee down the stretch of this last season said that we have nothing to do with that. That's not our job. We're not the NCAA. So then why, if you're a university, would you take into account anything that the NCAA is saying here when you know you can still make the college football playoff? Clearly, that's who's in charge. That's who's managing the money, because the NCAA may later vacate your wins and say you didn't win it. Who cares what they say? We don't need you to tell us who won the championship. We have eyeballs, and you're 100% right on Greg Sankey. You know, class is in session for Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti. I think you should take notes from Greg Sankey on how this thing gets handled down the stretch.
No, without a doubt, and we want to get to the chat. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are taking live calls. It's going to open at 7:15 a.m. Central, 8:15 a.m. Eastern. Give us a buzz. We want to know what you think. But like I said, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Blaine, this goes back to what I've said, and I think what everybody agrees with, whether you're on the side of college players getting paid, whether you're on the other side of well, they shouldn't, they're getting an education. When you just let NIL out of the box with really no rules, I mean, you go back and look. I believe Tennessee's lawyers used vague and contradictory. That's putting it lightly to me. I didn't even think the rules were vague. I just think they really didn't exist. But when you let something out of the box, right, just like with the transfer portal, and you give it no guardrails, how can you then go back and say, you know what, we're going to use different spots to say that you broke the rules retroactively? How does that work? How could we exist in that world? How could I ever take you serious in that world? That's why I'm telling Tennessee fans, I would not worry about this at all. I would not lose one. I would be more upset about Lamont Paris and the Gamecocks basketball team coming in and beating y'all last night on the road, which was a huge upset with the way that Tennessee's been playing and been playing at home, than I would about this. Back in the day, when you used to get that, oh no, the NCAA is investigating you, it was death. It was the plague on your program. Now it's laughed at. But Blaine, it should be laughed at when all of a sudden you're saying you broke rules that didn't exist until now. That's not how it works.
Well, yeah, we can get up here, I mean, and say the same thing 3 different ways. I mean, no one believes in the NCAA. No one takes the NCAA serious, and you wasn't their hall monitor. Okay, that's what they are. I mean, you got the pass. We were all those kids back in the day a little bit. You go to the bathroom, you stay out for maybe 45 minutes from class. We've all done that before. There's always that one kid walking around the school. All right, around the school, getting ready to tell a teacher. But I promise you, 1, no one cares what you say. And 2, the teacher likes me more than you, buddy. And I promise you, the College Football Playoff Committee likes Tennessee a lot more than the NCAA does. No one cares what rules. When did that ever become a thing? It's about money. This is what the college kids get paid. You can't pick and place the guys you want to go after. It's the NCAA is a regime. That's what they are. They're a regime that needs to be stopped. And they will be stopped because there's one man. 2 men, excuse me. 2 men. 1, who just got. I just saw him boogie boarding the other day on a video on Twitter.
Nikki Sticks.
That's Nikki Sticks. That's Nick Saban. All right, and just give Greg Sankey, a.k.a. Palpatine, the keys to the Senate.
Yeah.
Just give it to him. It's time. The moving of the guard. He is the future.
Well, I've continued to say we should make a college football commission, and we're actually sitting next to our boy T-Bob. We got Andy Staples over here. We could take the people sitting in this room right now, even the NFL guys. Y'all can come too and create a better situation than what the NCAA is doing for college football. You know what? College basketball, here's the thing, David. Like, you think college football's pushing you out? Let college basketball keep going in this NIL space too. They're eventually going to put you out. But Blaine, I'm with you 100%. It's an absolute joke. We want to know what the Booster Club thinks about it as well. Let's go ahead and get over there.
One thing quickly. Hold on. Just on the NCAA point quickly, it's not the NCAA's fault for not establishing any of those guardrails that you're talking about and having this new era ushered in, because they did lose the O'Bannon and the Alston cases, right? Like, that's what ushered in this new era. The NCAA has tried to put limits on the transfer portal and NIL and things like that. The problem is, under NCAA leadership, we should have never had a ban on being able to profit off name, image, and likeness in the first place. It's all well and good to call someone an amateur and you don't have pay for play. But if student athletes had been able to be in a car commercial or to be able to sign autographs for money, the NCAA should have never been standing in their way from that in the first place, which led to this springing up, which now you can't put guardrails on. And then, like you said, picking and choosing of who gets in trouble. I'm watching Texas players ride around in Lamborghinis right now, but then all of a sudden Tennessee did something wrong in the NIL space. Where are these rules? Where can we all read them and read exactly how one school violated them and the other didn't?
Yeah, look, that's my whole point. I'm not saying the NCAA is the only one to blame for there not being guardrails on this. And yes, going back to the beginning, players should have been able to be in car commercials. But it's just like anything. Is why I give Nick Saban credit for being the greatest, head coach of all time in college, is because he evolved, he adapted. Once you realize it was going to change, you need to have a good plan of action for how to handle it. So and then I tell you what you don't do. When you do lose those cases and it does kind of go down like this, you don't just start individually penalizing certain places. When everybody else is doing the same thing basically with these collectives, which I think is one of the biggest kind of bugaboos that went along with it. It wasn't rolled out very smoothly, but you've got to be able to evolve. We always say you're evolving or dissolving, you're adapting or you're dying. You're either being malleable or you're invaluable. At the end of the day, you've got to be able to adjust along with everything else. So, all right, let's get to the Booster Club.
All right, Chad, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you donate and it's on topic, I'll read it at the moment. If not, I will catch you at the end of the show.
Scream at him.
Start off with Ty Smith with the $5 donation. Ty.
Thank you, Ty.
Thank you, sir.
Bow to your sense.
Says, if I was an AD, I would tell the NCAA that I'm investigating them.
Yes.
Maybe flip the script a little bit, huh?
Wait, look, is this a maybe Michael Scott starts his own paper company situation? To go against, could you preemptively get out in front of the NCAA by investigating them? Hold on, Ty. That may be the greatest idea I've ever heard in my life.
It was Colonel Mustard in the kitchen with a candlestick.
Yes. If I'm a team in the SEC or the Big 12 states, I'm now investigating the NCAA.
Yeah. And then tell them they can't say anything publicly. They cannot comment publicly on the investigation. But if we want to comment to the press, we can, of course.
Well, we can. But then, David, we create rules that day that the NCAA has broken in the past, and then we punish them for retroactively breaking the rules.
I'm writing them down right now.
I think
I'm coming up with them as I speak.
Yes. Ty.
I think Harbaugh just left and they had to get their fix, man. They had to find somebody.
Yeah, Harbaugh left and they
couldn't pick on him anymore.
They got got pictures. They're like, all right, Harbaugh's out. They're like, God, I just hate Josh Heupel's face.
NCAA just putting lipstick on in the mirror.
Yeah. Man, am I glad I called that guy.
Let's go to Bama_Bob. Bobby, what is go?
I wonder what he thinks about it. He wants to bury Tennessee.
He said, let's not act like UT is clean. In the last 15 years, they have been involved in NCAA investigation 48 times. The next team is Auburn at 5, allegedly.
No, I'll tell you this. Bob, you're right. But you want to know something else? Nobody's clean. This is a college football is nothing but a huge rehab clinic for people that are trying to get ahead.
Yeah.
Like that's what it is. So nobody's clean, yes. Tennessee's just, they're not, and this is a different case, but before this, they're just bad at not getting caught. They're just like bad criminals. You have like levels of criminals. Like what Nick Saban and Bama them got away with for a long time? Masterclass. The man is the Lupin of the United States. But Tennessee, but I'll say this though, with Jeremy Pruitt, they kind of wanted to get caught for cause. They're like, hey man, I don't want to go stupid around too much, but I feel like Jeremy Pruitt's cheating. I feel like they wanted to get caught with Pruitt, so they could fire him with cause. But yeah, look, Tennessee.
Like the only way to fix it.
I respect it though.
The only way to fix the NCAA is to get the guy from Bar Rescue,
John Taffer,
to run the NCAA. That's the only way I'd be okay with it. Can you imagine John Taffer kicking in the door to your facility?
T-Bob, you think John Taffer would be good running the NCAA? Yeah, do you think John Taffer from Bar Rescue could do a good job running the NCAA? Just come in and start screaming at people why the system's not working? Just talking about Nick Saban.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Nick Saban College Rescue.
That'd be great.
That's the only guy that could do it.
That's a good idea. I like
that's the best guy to do it. But no, he makes a really good point about compliance, right? Like that's an important part of this. Is you may have gotten your players a Lamborghini and went through the proper channels, but maybe Michigan's getting a guy a cheeseburger during a dead period and they get in trouble for that. But again, we're talking about the spirit of the law versus the letter of the law. Yes, some of these programs like Michigan and like Tennessee, clearly they need new people in the compliance department to be able to follow whatever the rules and the specific language of the contracts are better. But still, don't come at me talking about these schools are constantly breaking the rules when we can't even look them up and see what exactly they are. I mean, the NCAA now investigates programs more when kids can get paid than before when kids couldn't get paid. That's my biggest issue.
It's amazing. I just wonder if it's almost like a protection racket, like the mob. Mm-hmm. Like you're like, listen, hey, as long as you pay the tax, that NCAA tax, you could put guys in Lambos, right? But just know, once a week, all right, I'm walking that deli with a leather jacket, all right, I'm going to need that money in the envelope. And if it's not in there, all of a sudden people are going to come snooping around and somebody may get in trouble. Like, that's what it just feels like to me.
You got to pay that.
Let's go to Steve Parker with...
Yeah.
Let's go to Steve Parker with a $5 donation. Appreciate it, Stevie. He says, with respect to Churchill, we shall fight on the seas, beaches, and the streets.
This Tennessee fan.
We shall defend our schools.
It's war.
And we shall never surrender.
No, look, Tennessee, right now, Josh Heupel's in his war room in a bunker somewhere, smoking a cigar, eating like eggs over easy. And there's like maps with where the NCAA is. Like they're just preparing. And you know what? If I'm Greg Sankey, I think this is a great time to take a stand against the NCAA from an institution within the SEC moving forward. You got a chance, I think, with this going on. Because remember, it's with Florida State and Florida as well. And I'm hearing there's more news coming down the pipe that there's going to be a couple other schools that you hear maybe in the next couple of days with a little more movement. You start getting them to form that army. Like the NCAA, their sword's a lot shorter than it used to be. All right, one more.
I was going to Chris. He says, looking back, was Jeremy Pruitt giving out bags of cash in hamburger bags such a bad thing to do?
So that I can understand. Like, and again, was he really giving out money in McDonald's bags? No, but that was kind of the crux of the joke. It was Jeremy Pruitt was very disorganized with his cheating scandal. Let's just be honest. It was a badly run operation. I'll go back to what I said earlier. You have guys that were able to bootleg for a long time and not get caught. Hell, that's how NASCAR started. But then you also got the same people that got caught like the second day because there was smoke coming out of their camp where they're making it in the woods. Yeah. Like it just feels like you have coaches that are good at it, coaches that aren't good at it. But now everybody gets paid. So I can't go back and see, look, if Tennessee wants to pay their guys an NIL through, Willy Wonka bars with money in it, they can do whatever they want. But again, when you have no rules and then all of a sudden you come back one day and say, you know what, we have rules and you broke them back then. So that's like breaking them now. We don't have a time machine invented. It's just stupid. If they were smart, here's what they do. They would say, listen, you have blanket immunity for what's gone on in the past. But starting this week, here are the rules and the guidelines. If you break these rules and the guidelines right now, we can actively punish you. But we're not going to – we can grandfather in what you did earlier, right? But that would have been the best way to go about it. But they're not going to do that because they don't choose the path of least resistance. They choose the path of who's the most important that they could piss off the quickest. That's what they do, and that's why they're disappearing.
All right, let's go to Humping Badger with a $2 donation. He says, Charlie Baker should have 2 live with me for a year.
Have to live with what with you?
Should have two live with
to live with.
To live with it.
Early, guys. It's early, guys. What messed me up is Jake said last one. Right? He said last one. All right. So I didn't look. I was locked into the conversation. And then he came back. All right. So I'm getting thrown for a whirl here.
It's okay.
All right. So I'm a very organized guy.
It's the trust tree. It's the trust tree. By the way, I had somebody stop me at Winsel's last night that knew we did the show, and they said one of their favorite parts was you having to read the hockey player's name.
We
got to bring that back.
I read a lot.
No, you don't.
Not like books, but on here.
You don't read a lot.
On here, I read a lot.
Well, yeah, you do. All right, but speaking about reading, you don't have to be able to read or write to know if something tastes amazing. And with Good Ranchers, it always tastes amazing. You like that? That's a pretty good one there.
I'm getting roasted right now.
Yeah, that was a Euro step. Yeah. No, Good Ranchers, fantastic product. Just got our brand new Butcher's Box. And also, I want to make sure everybody knows this. Today is the last day to secure Good Ranchers' New Year, New Meat Special. If you haven't snagged your free chicken, yeah, you heard that right. Drop whatever you are doing right now, unless you're driving or operating heavy machinery or doing both, and head over to GoodRanchers.com. Because when you subscribe to any box of Good Ranchers, they'll add over 2 pounds of pre-trimmed, better than organic chicken breasts to your order for free. Not once, not twice, but every order for a year. Good Ranchers, they'll change what you know about chicken. Look, my wife has found more ways to make chicken because we keep getting these Good Ranchers boxes, and they keep delivering. Which, by the way, she's making some buffalo chicken fajitas, David, which you got to come over, especially once the new baby's here. We may just bring those over to you. So go to GoodRanchers.com. Use our code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, to enjoy free chicken in 2024, plus an additional $20 off your first order. Change the way you buy meat by switching to Good Ranchers. Subscribe today. Use our code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, to get that over $200 in free chicken and New Year's savings. GoodRanchers.com, American meat delivered. It's free chicken. You either like that or get out. By the way, our buddy Barrett Salih let me know the Bama stat is real, David. That Bama stat. Tell everybody, maybe they weren't here for the cold open. Tell everybody again. I cannot believe.
Is that stat real? Because some people were talking about
Barrett Salih.
I looked up Julio did not score in the Super Bowl.
He didn't score.
Mark Ingram didn't score. So with the 49ers and Chiefs,
Bama player.
With the 49ers and Chiefs having no Alabama players on their active roster, a remarkable streak will continue. No player who finished college at Alabama has scored a point in the Super Bowl.
That is the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Now, that won't count.
That's your best one. Hey, you've had some good ones. Hey, now you've had some good ones, David, in the past. I know we just started doing this, but without a doubt, that you put your Sherlock Holmes hat on for that one.
Oh, that was a deep dive.
Like you really dug deep for that one.
Yeah,
that was. I'm proud of you. All right, Dave. Let's move on to a little rapid fire here.
All right, man. We talked all season long how Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson was a hot commodity for an NFL coaching job. He announced yesterday he's going to stay with the Lions as OC. Man, that's huge for everything Dan Campbell's building in Detroit.
Yeah, I had a bunch of people on social media ask me yesterday, do you think this is more about him Ben Johnson he feels like he owes it to Dan Campbell and this Lions team to try and get to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl? Or did he just not like the Seahawks job and Commanders job that was available? I think in sports media, sometimes we try and narrow everything down to one thing. Oh, this guy took this job because of this. This guy didn't take it because of that. I think it's multiple things. I think it was a combination of them feel like there's unfinished business, obviously with what happened, with the way they lost that game after being up. And then, listen, the Seahawks job to me is a lot more attractive than the Commanders job. Mm-hmm. I don't think the Commanders job is a good job. I'm just going to be honest with you. Number one, because of where it is, I don't know anything that works in Washington, D.C., but with the absolute, and David, you spoke on this before, and I know Dan Snyder's out, but it just seems like there's always some crazy-ass situation that is going on with the Commanders that takes away or distracts from the team going out there and playing well. And I like Sam Howell. I don't think they're super far away. But to me, the Seahawks job is way better than the Commanders. But I think it is a combination of Ben Johnson saying, hey, I want to do this right. I got my quarterback. We got our offensive pieces, an offensive line that I trust. I'm going to keep evolving as a play caller. And maybe, and you look at a guy who did this like Kirby Smart or a guy like Billy Napier, even though we're going to see how it works out for Billy, being able to wait for the right job is such a luxury, right? There are guys that have to go take that job now. They've got to strike while the iron's hot because you don't know if you're going to have another big year at Ball State or somewhere like that. But having the luxury to say, I'm hotter than Hansel at the Male Model Awards right now. Everybody thinks me and Bobby Sovic are the smartest guys to ever walk the earth. We're gonna have a great offense next year, so my stock's not gonna drop too much, and then I may be able to pick the best job or the job that maybe I want that I'm waiting on. Kirby did it with Georgia. He could have taken the Auburn job, could have taken a ton of jobs, but being able to wait for the right job is typically the smart decision, and it's a luxury. So good for him, good for Detroit, and I do think it speaks to how Dan Campbell treats his assistants as well, which is something that we don't talk about enough in the realm of the NFL and college football. It's a huge deal.
Blaine, do you think this is just the start of something special in Detroit, or is this year the best they could hope for a while?
No, I think this is the start of something special. I mean, look at the talent around him. If you're Ben Johnson, I mean, if you're going to say the one reason why is our best players are all extremely young. Jared Goff, extremely young, came off probably his best year, in my opinion. Jahmyr Gibbs, young. Montgomery, young. Sam Laporta, young. Jameson Williams didn't even have his best year. Wasn't even healthy the full year.
Had his best game last
with
game.
The gambling scheme. Had his best game at the end of the year. This Lions team is only going to get better, and they're only going to get a lot better on offense. So your offensive line is extremely young other than your center. So that's why I think Ben stayed, and I do think I agree with you this. Nobody wants to take this Commander's job.
Nobody wants.
Nobody does. And Sam Howell is a good piece. I like Jahan Dotson. I like a couple guys they have there. They got good pieces, right? But nobody wants to take the job. You got to think the Commanders are walking in with the number 2 pick in this draft. All right, number 2 pick. So what do? Do they go quarterback? Do they keep Sam? I do think they keep Sam, but this is going to happen to Ben every year with this young offense they have. He will be a top assistant every year until he finds the job that he wants.
Well, David, too, I want to say this. This isn't like an Eric Bieniemy, Andy Reid situation where there's questions, is it really Dan Campbell that's doing it and it's making Ben Johnson look better? No, Ben Johnson is running the off. This is Ben Johnson is running it. Mindset wise, Dan Campbell obviously wants to be downhill, pound his head into a wall. But there's no question on who is the wizard behind the curtain, who is the boy who lived, the one with the scar in the head. It's Ben Johnson right now.
Yeah, not only is it not an Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy situation, it's almost the exact opposite of that. Like, I was really worried for Dan Campbell and this Lions franchise if Ben Johnson decided to leave this cycle, because you have a guy who's, more of a CEO type, and the best unit on the team is the offense. You have a young offensive coordinator leave right now, it would really derail a lot of momentum. And I agree with you guys. The Lions are really cool in that they're young in all the right spots, but then experienced in all the right spots. And Jared Goff has been seeming to hit a stride with all of these elite pieces around him. So look, shore up the defense. Improve in the secondary, and I think they're going to be good for a long time. All right, let's move to the Steelers.
And I think their cap situation's good too, though. Real quick, I think their cap situation's pretty good too.
It's not bad.
It's a lot. Like, you look at the Bills right now. The Bills, it's like, oh God. Like, you look at the Cowboys with Dak Prescott and having to pay Micah and what they're doing. You're like, oh my God. You look at the Lions. It's almost like, hey, we're just. Everybody wants to make money, but we all realize for us to have success, these young guys, it's like the Atlanta Braves. Lock them up in contracts early before you get to that second one and don't get crazy. Give them a little taste of winning, and you see what happens.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. The Chargers are also going to have a little bit of work to do in terms of cap space. I think they're like $27 million over. And we saw that Jim Harbaugh hired the Ravens director of player personnel to come over and be the GM. So once again, the Harbaugh brothers are just trading all sorts of chess pieces to just continue their dominance. But let's go on to the Steelers. Former Falcons coach Arthur Smith is going to go be the offensive coordinator for the Steelers. They had fired Matt Canada from last year. Do you guys like this move for the Steelers?
Look, I think when Arthur Smith can just focus on the meal he's best at preparing, then yes, right? We always talk about the difference in the coordinator job and the head coaching job and just the vast, wide ocean that separates those. When I look at Arthur Smith, part of me is almost like, why? Like, he must really love it. And it must be great when your dad, like, invented FedEx and, you're so rich, your name should be Richard. It must be, like I said, you want to talk about analytics? I'd go for every fourth down. It's like I said when he was the head coach of the Falcons. But no, I think him being able to go concentrate on the offense, on calling the plays, not having to worry about the head coach thing, not having to worry about all that comes with that, kind of stepping behind the scenes a little bit more. I do like the hire, and I like it for Coach Tomlin, who we saw yesterday out here in Mobile, out in the field. Fantastic individual, talks to everybody, never too big to have a conversation. So, yeah, and I'm rooting for him. I hope he goes in there and figure out. I don't hate Arthur Smith. Right, I know a lot of people with the Falcons that there's a lot of bad blood there, and some people thought, I guess it was too early for him to leave, which I disagree with. I think it was smart to part ways with him. But I'm happy for Arthur, and I hope the Steelers are able to find it with that core they have.
Well, yeah, it has to feel good for Arthur to go coach with a guy like Mike Tomlin.
Yeah,
right. You know that you can be comfortable in what you do, comfortable in your skin as a play caller, because a lot of it's feel when it comes to play calling. But right now, if you're a Steelers fan, all right. God, you just moved off from Matt Canada.
Yeah.
You bring in Arthur Smith. And the real question is this, is Kenny Pickett your guy?
That's the question.
That's
the question.
That's the biggest one.
Your guy. And right now, if you're the Steelers, the 15th, 16th pick in the draft, the Steelers, they'll probably go edge, right? They'll probably go linebacker. That's what they usually do. But I don't think they believe in Kenny Pickett.
We'll see. We'll know a lot more about their belief in Kenny Pickett now. They're bringing in the new OC, kind of what moves they make. If you see them maybe make a move in a draft, because if you're going to go get a quarterback, if you're going to say we missed and we screwed up, this is the year to make that move to go get one, right? Or maybe wait back in the wings and kind of see who's available, which we're going to get into kind of, our top performers from yesterday in the Senior Bowl before we get into calls as well.
All right, next one up here, and this is a big one for the Eagles. We talked about Nick Sirianni. They won the NFC a year ago, went to the Super Bowl, and then both coordinators leave. Shane Steichen takes a job. Gannon takes a head coaching job. Well, now Kellen Moore is going to come in to be the offensive coordinator for the Eagles. We know they just got Vic Fangio to be the DC from Miami. Kellen Moore, really polarizing to a lot of people. He was with Dallas. Now Mike McCarthy was calling plays with the Chargers this past year. I don't know if this is the home run hire that a lot of Eagles fans are wanting it to be, but at the same time, it has to be an improvement. I have to see it as an improvement over last year. How do you feel?
Yeah.
How do you feel about Kellen Moore with Philly?
Look, when it comes to play calling, I think we all can agree Kellen Moore is. I know he hadn't had that uber success, right, with the Cowboys in the playoffs that we were waiting to see. But if you watch football, and shoot, I can remember watching Kellen Moore play at Boise State. I've never seen a guy with a weaker arm ball so hard. Mm-hmm. And that's how he knows what he's looking at. The man anticipates, better than Matthew McConaughey walking into a sorority house. Like, how it's going to go. But no, I do like the hire. I hated hearing about Nick Sirianni, talking about they may fire him a year after making the Super Bowl, which at that point... Woo! At that point, then just fire me.
The league.
Yeah, at that point, just fire me. I didn't realize it was like that. But, no, I do like the hire. But this is a great part about coming down to the Senior Bowl.
Yes.
We're sitting here. We talk a little Tennessee, talk some NFL, and guess who walks in?
The man.
Our good friend.
The myth.
Sam Hartman.
The legend.
That's right. Former Wake Forest quarterback, now former Notre Dame quarterback, Sam Hartman. Thanks to Molly Middleton. I'll give a shout-out to my girl, Molly. But, Sam, number one, what is up? Number two, thanks for joining us. And number three, how's it going, man? How's life right now?
It's going great. I got a text from Molly, and I thought I was in trouble, so I'm glad I'm not.
Yeah, typically that's a trouble text.
Yeah. Call me as soon as you get this. I was like, what have I done in the past?
What I do,
since I've been here. So, yeah, no, it's been great. It's, obviously down here, weather's been incredible.
Yeah.
Obviously the atmosphere is just unreal. This is a one-of-a-kind event. And then, the guys in this on these teams around the building, it's people I've been playing against since like 6 years ago, and every memory, every moment, they've all kind of been around for. So you kind of get to rehash that, and it's been going really well.
Well, man, it's such an exciting time. I know in your life as well, getting ready to take that next step. Ask a question in the chat. We may get to the chat to ask Sam Hartman a question. Sam, here's what I want to ask you. And we talked about this when you made the jump from Wake to Notre Dame. Playing in that, we call it the slow mesh RPO system that you kind of did at Wake Forest, going to Notre Dame, more of that pro-style system. I know both obviously worked for you. You were asked to throw the ball a little bit more, it seemed like, at Wake Forest, because, again, you're reading everything every play. How was that jump going from one system to the other, especially being a thrower of the ball, a nuanced thrower of the ball, a guy that can make all the throws, that understands what he's looking at, but being in an offense where you can kind of utilize your strengths as a passer in more of a pro-style system at that point?
Oh, for sure. You should tell some NFL people that.
Yeah. Hey, look, I will. They'll be here today.
It was really cool. I think, first and foremost was Wake Forest and what it meant to me to play there and really build a legacy there. And I have lifelong friends. I have best friends that I was roommates with, that I played with for 5 years, and one of them's getting married in 2 weeks. Like all those different things. Like all the coaching staff, the people, the organization as a whole was incredible to me. And I'm so blessed that I got to experience that for 5 years, and they kept me around for 5 years because all 5 weren't great. The first 2 were really bad. The second one was tough because of COVID, and then the last 2 were pretty fun. And I made so many memories there. And then you have the opportunity to either go to the NFL, hopefully maybe I'd have came here and gave it a shot, but I just wouldn't have been ready. Like you're kind of talking about, it was one of those things. I had never been under center. I'd never been in a huddle. I hadn't been able to call a play and look in the eyes of 10 other guys and say, hey, this is what we're running. This is what we're going to go do. I'm confident. You guys got to be confident. Let's go out and do it. And you had guys like Joe Alt, Blake Fisher, Audric Estime in there, and you got to almost relearn how to be a leader, relearn how to command an offense in a completely different way. Wake was a lot more about plays and making plays, and Notre Dame became more about being able to manage the situation and then also make a play at the same time. And so I feel like a lot of that translates out on the field. Like this morning when we go out there, it's not as much, hey, I got to go down, walk the dog, make a guy miss, make a throw. It's more, hey, I got to take a deep drop, feel the coverage, and potentially just get the ball to a guy and in the flat, and he's going to go make 20, 30 yards because that's what he's getting paid for now. So
it seems like kind of, I don't think buttoned up's the word, but kind of more robotic with the way you go about it in the pro style offense. And before, David, I know you want to ask him something, but I don't think we talk about through the transfer portal or even making the jump from college to the NFL or high school to college. It is that leading element. We look in the transfer portal and we're like, hey, this amazing wide receiver is going from place A to place B. He's an incredible player, or this quarterback's a really good player. We know what he can do on the field, but it's that leadership aspect that I don't think enough talk about fit. We hear that word all the time. Can you just talk about, and you did a little bit, just about having to go in there and once again set the tone of saying, hey, I'm not trying to come in here like an arrogant prick, but I want to be your leader, and I've got to prove it to you how I can lead.
No, for sure. I mean, I think the humble flex of the day is being a captain for 3 years at Wake. You learn a lot, and Coach Clausen taught me so much at Wake about how to be a leader, but also how to be a little bit more self-aware of everything that you do and everything that goes into everything you say. I think when I was younger as a captain, I gave 50 speeches, and all of them, probably the first 10 were listened to, the last 40 nobody cared about because you're talking too much, you're doing too much. And as my career went on, the speeches got less, but it was more about the interpersonal relationships and my self-awareness to know, okay, this action or this this talk or the way I say this to this person maybe comes across a little bit different than the other person. And then get into Notre Dame, like you said, I'm not going to kick the door down, but I got to get my foot in the door.
For sure.
And the guys in the locker room made that all happen so easily. Like there's 4 other guys here with me, and it obviously speaks to the Notre Dame talent level and the character of those guys. And they helped me seamlessly transition into this organization that has had a history and tradition of winning and unbelievable leaders and in a very high pressure situation, which I'm always super grateful for.
For sure.
Tony,
can Sam hear me? Sam, can you hear me?
You hear him, Sam?
Yes. Pim Pendango, can you hear me?
There was a time when a quarterback got drafted to the NFL that he had the luxury to sit behind another starter and really develop. Now it seems like guys are having to start for NFL franchises right off the bat. Just this past year, you look at Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Aiden O'Connell, Sam Howell, all these guys having to start as rookies. You and Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr., you guys have more college snaps than almost any quarterback coming out that I can remember. What part of your game and that experience can translate the quickest to the NFL if you find yourself in a situation having to start as a rookie?
I think the biggest thing you see, especially at the quarterback position, is just, there's a huge high-low variation. And each game is going to be a mix of that, and each week and each season is going to be a mix of that. And I think, especially at the NFL level, the scrutiny and the criticisms that you get day in and day out amplify that much more than when you were in college. So I think the level-headedness and the realization that one play, one snap, one drive is not going to make or break the career, but also at the same time you realize how important it all is. So it's a fine balance of that kind of paradox where one play is not the end of the world, but it also could be the end of the world. And so it's just finding that happy medium and rolling with the punches.
Well, we all had a lot of fun watching you play, man, so we're wishing you the best of luck. And I'll have to tell you, we do a segment on this show called Huddle Up, where we break down the biggest touchdown from the weekend before. And your week 0 touchdown on short double post was the first Huddle Up segment of the year this past season.
The Irish in Dublin. The Irish in Dublin.
Is that what you guys called it?
It all makes it.
We called it Python. We called it Python for short double post, but it was a heck of a throw, man.
Yeah, as a DB coach, we called it "oh shit." That's what we called it.
Sam, how was it playing over in Dublin, man?
It was unreal. Probably the 3 coolest moments was the support was one. The amount of Irish fans. Obviously, we were in the Irish country, and just the hospitality. The whole event was just first class. We were staying in like a 5-star hotel on the hillside. You could look out and see just pasture lands full of
Bagger Vance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There was like a flute in the background when you walked around. It was crazy. And then I would say number 2 was meeting Joe Montana. He was on the sideline walking around. I got to shake his hand. That's obviously a lifelong, idol and dream. And number 3 was meeting Shane Gillis. He's an Irish legend, and he loves Notre Dame, and the Notre Dame loves him back. And so it was quite a star-studded cast. And then I would say to piggyback on that was the Ohio State game. Obviously didn't go the way we went, but we wanted it to. But again, got a lot of time with Joe Montana, and then Vince Vaughn was on the sideline. Which, again,
see that
unreal.
Everybody was out.
Comedy legend and somebody who I can.
Former Notre Dame quarterback too,
exactly.
and Rudy. Technically,
so we had
some part of the brotherhood.
Yeah, we had some good talks. You feel like you're in a movie when you're talking to him. It's so cool. So
yeah, well, couple more questions. How's the Senior Bowl been so far? Has anything stood out to you personally? And the next question is, how do I get my hair to look like yours, dude?
Yeah, it's a little rough right now. I didn't really get in a good shower. I was rolling through it.
Give us a man.
How many times has Head and Shoulders?
Anybody else got a chance?
NFL already.
Gonna be hanging out with Troy Polamalu.
Hey, that's good company, right? Senior Bowl's been great. It's just cool. Like, I think one of the reasons I love this game, and I've been trying to play it and stay in college and do all the things that I've done for so long, is because of the guys in it. And I have no reason or rhyme to be around these cats and know these guys, and there's not a lot of commonalities just on paper with a lot of my teammates and the guys on the other team, but we love football, and it grows this bond that is undescribable and unfathomable in the world today. And it's surreal, and it's something I have to pinch myself every morning. I get to wake up and walk around and play with these guys. And then I just say the event itself is so first class. Jim Nagy does an incredible job. Inviting the right people and getting the right people around us to be coached, and the NFL and the NFLPA and everyone around it really just helps us feel like, yeah, it's a lot. You got interviews. Like, my day is just getting started, and this is the easiest part of my day. So I appreciate that. I'm not thinking about football or the interviews after, or how I'm walking if I look like I'm presenting myself well, right? So that's been great. And the hair, I got to give a shout out to Mom. She's
there. You go.
There you go.
She blessed me, and so hopefully this thing stays like this for a little bit longer. But I'm sure somebody will tell me to cut it here soon.
Hey, well, you would get.
Let's go to John Williams real quick in the chat. He wants to know, Sam, what do you think will be the most difficult adjustment as a QB transitioning from college to the NFL?
I think it was the same. It was similar. Not saying the college NFL was the same, but a similar transition was up front. The speed, right? You get in the high school, D-line is at a premium in high school. College, it becomes, okay, you're playing 1 or 2 guys that are really good. The NFL, every single one. And then you get that dude you're basically sliding everything to. So I think that's one of the biggest ones, is how quickly you have to get the ball out. There's no 3 seconds in the pockets. It's 2.5. It's 1. I gotta know, hey, this guy's open, no, check it down. Hey, this guy's, no, check it down. This guy, I gotta get out. So I think that's one of the biggest things I've heard, and obviously I'm sure I'll experience some more along the way.
Well, that's what I always say, like watching guys extend the play in the NFL level at the quarterback position, making those D linemen miss is so impressive. Like when Mahomes does it in his weird way, it's incredible. Those guys are great athletes. But Sam, man, good luck to you. We're going to be rooting for you, brother.
Appreciate
Thanks
you guys
for taking some time with us this morning. Yeah, congrats on a great career. Yes,
thanks,
David,
Sam.
there's a handshake
right there. That's an awesome virtual handshake right there.
Yeah.
I love it.
That is right there. Well, look, it's 2024. Elon will be proud. But
Appreciate
Sam,
it,
thanks, buddy. Sam Hartman, an unbelievably talented guy. We can't wait to watch. And I tell you, a comp we talked about a little bit of Brock Purdy in him, I think. You get a lot of
I mean, he kind of reminds me a little bit of the guy who's taking the snaps of the Commanders right now, Sam Howell. Sam Howell.
I don't think that's crazy. Both names Sam.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's amazing. We have Sam on here, and the female demographic in the show just automatically kicks up.
Yeah, we're
Justine's just panicking right now.
Yeah, just absolutely panicking. All right, David, we were talking a little bit about the NFL, and obviously what's going on with the coaching changes there. I do want to make sure and say this though: college basketball last night was absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had that there on the rapid fire list.
Yeah, UNC and Tennessee,
home.
2 top 5 teams.
Yeah, to South Carolina. I know North Carolina loses on the road to Georgia Tech. Here's the thing with college basketball: nobody knows this year. Nobody knows. Nobody can win on the road like consistently. I know South Carolina beat Tennessee at home, but it is just the NCAA tournament. Like I said the other day, you might as well just burn your bracket now. Don't get excited about it. Like just walk around the office and ask people that don't know. But I want to make sure we got that in, David. But also, I want to get to a little Senior Bowl recap because I know you're obviously in Nashville, but there were some guys yesterday that really stood out, Blaine.
Yeah, I agree. And one guy, in my opinion, is Ricky Pearsall.
Man.
When you knew Ricky was talented, what he was doing at Florida, but the way Florida kind of played this year, he kind of went under the radar. And look, being a receiver guy as myself, if I'm going to point out a player, it's going to be the receiver because that's the guy I'm watching the most. I'll tell you what about Ricky, and this might be a crazy comp to some people, all right, because they look a little different.
Tell him, son.
All right. Ricky reminds me a lot of Jamar Chase.
Wow.
Really?
He reminds me a lot. If you want to talk about a guy you cannot touch off the line of scrimmage, COVID tried to press him. Couldn't touch him.
COVID tried to press him?
Couldn't touch him.
Can't do it.
I watched him, and one, he's a smart player. He knows how to read coverages. He knows how to read zones. And two, there is not a man on that field that could guard him yesterday in one-on-ones. Double moves, slants, digs, 15-yard out, comebacks. The entire bag was open for him, and that's one of the guys I kind of reached out and looked. And another guy we talked about, Ladd McConkey. All right. But if you've watched Ladd McConkey play football at Georgia, you should not be surprised of what he's already doing at this Senior Bowl. Ladd McConkey is a hell of a football player.
Yeah, and look, Haru's going to come out and do what Haru does. I agree with you. I thought Ricky was really smooth. I thought Ricky Pearsall and Roman Wilson were two of the smoothest wide receivers that I saw yesterday. But I'm going to tell you guys this as well. The Corley kid out of Western Kentucky.
Look good.
Problem. He's a problem. He doesn't do anything unbelievably elite to me. He's just good at everything. But watching the way Ricky was leaning on, we saw him going up against Kalen King from Penn State. I mean, there's some really good DBs that we saw work yesterday. Kyrie Jackson in here that's really impressive. I kind of sticking with the skill position. Ali, the running back out of Marshall, he's going to have a chance. I think he's going to have a chance to be special. But Marshawn Lloyd, and I talked about this with Chris Phillips, formerly Spurs Up, now doing SEC Unfiltered. He's big South Carolina guy. I totally get why the South Carolina coaching staff was so excited about Marshawn Lloyd, who then eventually transferred to USC. He looked healthy yesterday, and you talk about a guy that's got the rare combination of the ability to get outside, run away from people, run over people, but in the box, he has a really good jump cut. He has really good vision. He was the guy that stood out to me yesterday as well. But defensive wise, and David, I'm going to be honest. It seems like everybody from Michigan is here at this game.
Really?
I mean, there's Michigan helmets. Literally, it seems like every 2 to 3 players.
Good.
But the Peyton Wilson, the linebacker from NC State, the white kid. I tell you what, Luke Kuechly. I can start to understand the comparisons a little bit. He's a little bit more wiry than Luke was. But you talk about a guy that's got incredible feel, a guy that can flip his hips in coverage if he has to and get to different zones, but he can come downhill, and he's big enough to take on the brunt. I was very impressed with him as well yesterday, Dave.
So how about the quarterbacks? How are they slinging it?
You know, I'm always wary on judging the quarterbacks too much on timing and things like that because they haven't been with these guys for a while. So yesterday, it felt like, because, you know, we were at the early practice, it felt like the timing was a little bit more off for Michael Penix than it was for Bo Nix. I don't think, you know, there are people that were bashing him yesterday, but it is such a hard, nuanced situation that a quarterback that comes down with a new roster, guys he hasn't thrown with, guys he hasn't had these 3-4 year relationships with, to be able to build that chemistry, that takes some time. So I watched the way the ball comes out of their hand. Michael Penix Jr. has an absolute cannon. Now, just like guys that throw really hard in Major League Baseball, a lot of times when they miss up. That's something I noticed a little bit yesterday. His mechanics are more Phillip Rivers than they are anything else, kind of with the 3 quarters. But I tell you, man, Bo Nix looks smooth. The ball comes out so easy. He's able to throw on the run, whether it's moving right, whether it's moving left. He wasn't perfect yesterday, but, you know, I thought they were pretty good. I thought Sam was pretty good.
Yeah, one good thing and one bad thing about these 3 guys right now. Michael Penix Jr., one, has an absolute cannon, has an absolute rocket launcher attached to his shoulder. 2, but that comes with, if you do have that arm, if you do miss, where do you miss? You miss high, right? And that's what Michael did a couple times. And it does take time for chemistry with receivers. Bo Nix is best on the move.
Wow.
Bo is best on the move, whether that's play action, getting Bo outside the pocket. I think he's the best quarterback here that does that. And I feel like Sam, the guy we just had on, Sam Hartman, can control an offense better than anybody. Sam runs such the control of the entire offense. I didn't see a lot of mess ups from receivers that tied in the offensive line when Sam was out there. Methodical in the way Sam does, but I did see Sam kind of short arm a couple balls yesterday that he would love to get back. I thought Spencer played well yesterday, but I do think right now I'm still Michael Penix is my guy.
Yeah,
right? I think Michael Penix has shown enough, all right, to where if you're a team from that 11 to 15 range, I would take Michael Penix.
Yeah, and we want to see Michael Penix obviously with a more balanced system, which you're going to get in the NFL, right? That doesn't mean you're not going to throw it a lot some games, but it's not going to be so reliant on one area or one segment of the offense to be able to carry everybody else through. I think that's going to fit in better. I will say this too. Sam Hartman's faster than what I thought he was.
Quick.
He took off a couple times yesterday, and that's why I'm telling you, man, I see the Brock Purdy comp a little bit. I can understand that size-wise, not the strongest arm out of anybody, but very matter-of-fact, very about business, never too high, never too low, and that's what you want at that position.
What about Matt Corral? Is that a comp for Sam, now that you've seen him in person?
Yeah,
Matt was a little bit more of a gunslinger.
Well, I felt like Matt was a little more, more improvisational, right? I felt like it was more of a Jackson Pollock painting than it was an Andy Warhol. Sam Hartman it's very. I'm not going to go outside of myself or outside of what I need to do to make a play. I think Matt Corral, like Blaine said, is kind of more of a gunslinger mentality than what Sam is. Not that Sam won't try and fit it in some windows, but with Matt, you know, he may spin out of there twice and launch it down the field. Like, you never really knew. He may throw it back across his body. You know, Sam's not going to do that. Sam's either going to, hey, I'm going to hit the guy on the outside or I'm going to throw the ball away. But I can see that a little bit. But, all right, y'all want to get to calls here in a minute? Let's get to the Booster Club and then get to calls?
Yeah, we got about 5 minutes on calls. We can get to some donations right now. Let's go to Andy J with the $5 donation. Andy, appreciate it, brother. He says, man, big shout out to T-Bob. He's a man. We got to get T-Bob on the show.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he's right there. So if we're going to do, he also has another donation for $50. Andy dropping the bag.
We're going to be able to get home.
On the boys. Absolutely. He says, as a member of the Tennessee Collective, trust me, the NCAA doesn't have anything they could win in a court.
No.
So I'll put it this way. The NCAA is about to find out how we got the name Volunteers. We're about to go full Davy Crockett revenge mode.
Yeah, no, look, I totally get it. I totally get it. And yes, I that's why I told Tennessee fans at the beginning of this thing, look, it should have been a Black Rifle Coffee morning for you. You know, wake up, look outside, hear the birds, the weather's warming up, right? Don't worry about the NCAA. Don't let them take your fun away. They're not going to do it. They're the guy that goes and lifts all these weights, but they're afraid to fight. That's who they are.
All right, let's go to RPB. What's up, brother? He says Jordan Travis would give them all a run for their money if healthy. Where do you think Jordan Travis ends up going?
I hate that Jordan's not able to be here. I obviously hate what happened to him during the season. I don't think he's going to just drastically fall off the earth, but I think somebody's going to get a steal with him. Somebody's going to get a steal with Jordan Travis. That's why, again, this quarterback class, to piggyback off that, every time I look, it's just getting deeper and deeper. You can't name all of them. You'll always forget 2 or 3. You're like, oh my God, well, yeah, there's Spencer Rattler or Jordan Travis, the guy who got hurt. People forget about Drake May. We forget Drake May's coming out in this draft just because he's not here right now. So I hope that it doesn't hurt him too much. I think he is going to bounce back. I think he's got that type of a mindset. But it's just that whole situation is unfortunate. But you know what else is an unfortunate situation, Blaine?
Whatever's on your phone.
Well, when you put it like that, it's kind of scary and makes me seem like I'm kind of a pervert. But no, not having tickets when you want to go watch your live event. It doesn't just have to be a sporting event, right? Maybe you want to go see Shania. I don't know. Maybe you want to go see Lana Del Rey.
Travis Tritt?
Yeah, I'll go see some Travis Tritt.
Come on now.
All right? And look, there's nothing like watching your favorite sport or concert or whatever in person. The fans, the food, there's just something about catching it live. And that's why Game Time is the app that you need to have. Son. It's pretty. You want me to tell him?
Tell him, son.
I'm going to tell him. Here's what you do. You go download the Game Time app. It's really easy. Y'all know how to do it. You got phones. It's 2024. Even the old people know how to use them now.
That's true.
Download the Game Time app. All right? You can take the guesswork out of buying tickets. And when you download it, you create an account. Use our code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, for $20 off your first purchase. That's, again, it's real simple. This isn't an NFL offense. You go to the App Store. You download the Game Time app. All right? You create an account. Use code BOOSTER. All right? And that way you can get tickets last second, last minute to wherever you want to go. And if you find one for a lower price in your section and row, they'll credit you 110% of the difference. All right? Life, it's always game time. But you need to make sure you download the Game Time app so you can get where you need to go, when you need to get there, last minute, last second, doesn't matter. They've got it for you. That's Game Time. Download the app. Use code BOOSTER. It's America. Figure it out.
All right, let's go to Is This Heaven? Question mark. That's the question. He says, what are the Bears going to do with the first pick? Chicago's divided between getting Caleb Williams or keeping Justin.
Look, Jay Cutler obviously watches Craning Company because he went the other day and said exactly what I've been saying since the NFL regular season. I like Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields can do it. Y'all got to give this man some help. That whole team needs some help. It's not just the offense. You need help everywhere. So what do you do, David, when you need help everywhere? You've got the number 1 pick, but you believe in the quarterback that you have. You trade those picks for more picks, right?
So you don't get Marvin Harrison Jr.
So Marvin Harrison Jr., you make that pick instead of getting the because people are going to sell the farm for Caleb Williams. They will overpay for Caleb Williams regardless of how good you think he's going to be. So you're willing to say Marvin Harrison Jr. is so good, he can fix our problems enough to get to a point where Eberflus is going to come back for another year after next year, and it's all going to work with Justin Fields.
Well, we're talking about getting Justin Fields help.
Yes,
that's the definition.
But getting Justin Fields help isn't just getting one player with that 1 pick when you could trade it and get more. You get
and if that player's Marvin Harrison
Jr. A great defense helps out Justin Fields. Just ask, I don't know, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs who are winning games on defense this year. The whole team needs help. But I think, again, would you rather have one really, really elite guy that we know it's going to translate? I don't think it's any surprise. Or would you be able to trade that pick back, get a bunch of picks, and be able to make the team better overall? That's what I would do. That's what Jay Cutler thinks. Me and Jay Cutler are friends, so that's what they should do.
I think I'm on the other side of this. I think you move on from Justin Fields, you trade him and try and get more picks, and then you don't pass on a generational talent. Assuming that there's none of this melodrama between Caleb Williams and not wanting to get drafted by Chicago. We've heard he has a list of teams that he doesn't want to go to. I think your strategy is a good one, and that may end up being how it plays out. But I think you move on and you get one of these top 2 quarterbacks, either Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams is starting to turn into a problem. Yeah. Caleb Williams is, for a GM, great on the field, but he is starting to turn into a problem. All right, you want
agree.
this guy.
I just hesitate. Like, how much of that is him, and how much of it is his camp, though? Like that's where I start.
Well, his camp's not going anywhere, Dave.
So let me ask you this:
That's
you
true.
Said the same thing about Eli Manning?
Yeah, I did when Eli Manning was doing that, and John Elway's another one.
You did.
And John Elway was another one. I mean, I know that precedes our time a little bit, but still, I mean, everybody knows John Elway and his father. They didn't want to get drafted by the Colts. The Colts drafted him anyway, and you had the trade to Denver and that whole situation. I hate when guys do this. And a lot of times when you're talking about a 20-year-old kid, yeah, the families and the fathers, and even more so now, agents and managers are behind a lot of this. I get what you're saying, Blaine. Like, if a kid is allowing those sorts of influences in his life, then it's probably not going to go away when he gets drafted. But look, he's not the only quarterback on the board who I think could be generational this time. And maybe Chicago, maybe there's a scenario where both of us could be right, Jake. Maybe Chicago does move back, still gets a quarterback they value even more than Caleb Williams, and they still move off of Justin Fields.
If I'm a team that needs to make a move, in my opinion, if you don't believe in the guy that you have on the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm making a move.
Well, that's what we were talking about earlier. I mean, I don't think that would shock me.
I mean, you're sitting at 20. You're probably not going to get the exact guy you want in Bo Nix or Penix Jr. If you can get Justin Fields out of a trade and give up some pieces, I mean, if there's a team to do it, it'd be the Steelers. But I'm not moving on Justin Fields if I'm the Bears. I'm not doing it.
All right, let's get to calls.
All right, let's go to Josh in North Carolina. Josh, how you doing?
Oh,
that was quick.
What did I miss, fellas? I didn't miss anything, did I?
No, man, it's just Tennessee, man. It's going to be crazy. Y'all can't play in the playoff for 30 years. New NCAA rule.
I've heard Tennessee's already self-imposed a bowl ban, these last couple of years.
Yeah, I heard Chris Marler is the one who
I heard Chris Marler is the new coach at Tennessee.
I heard Chris Marler is a pansy. But anyways, all right. So the NCAA is the most anti-American thing I have seen in my lifetime. And I got proof because there is laws against going back and retroactively enforcing rules that haven't been in place yet. And that's called Article 1, Section 9, Clause 3 in the U.S. Constitution, I believe. No bill of attainder or ex post facto law shall be passed. And also this guilty until proven innocent mindset, that's also debunked in our Constitution because there is a presumption of innocence as recognized as due process under the Fifth Amendment. So that just goes to show you how anti-American this organization is. And the
boys
fact
pulling out the Constitution on them,
one
dog.
of the most American things in our life of college football. And you're telling me Mark Stoops, after losing and saying we need more money, that's not a violation. You're telling me Lane Kiffin, after getting kicked by Alabama, we need more money, that's not a violation. You have Alabama players driving in Lambos, and that's not inducement, but us following Tennessee state law that established this collective and allowed us to make contracts with these players. 2 years later, you're going to tell us that's bull? No, I'm not smelling what you're telling me right now.
Yeah. Listen, you want to know how it just means more? We got Tennessee fans calling this morning with the Constitution of the United. I'm talking Thomas Jefferson.
You know where I've been wondering about a guy I haven't seen and a face I haven't seen come out and just, where's Paul Feinbaum?
Paul Feinbaum. Where's Paul? Where's Paul? That's why I want the same energy from ESPN. I want Paul run out on Get Up in the morning and to talk about how Josh Heupel's a huge cheater. I want ESPN to run this story. They were an hour and a half late yesterday.
If this was Harbaugh, there would be pitchforks in his front yard.
Yeah, no, Harbaugh would be dead. Yeah, he'd be like...
He need witness protection right now.
Yeah, they'd hit him with a blow dart the minute he walked out of the field house.
I want everyone to keep that same energy when the NCAA goes after your team because they're coming. They feel the power slipping, and this is their last grasp. But I'm hoping Tennessee lawyers up like I think they will, and they're going to win, and then the NCAA will finally be defeated. It's going to be like Endgame, where they finally defeat Thanos. We're gonna be Iron Man snapping our fingers, and the NCAA just falls to its knees.
Josh, that's a great way to end it. Start it with the Constitution, end it with Thanos. That's a hell of a call on Crane and Company. 1 for 1. Hit the bell.
You want me to hit the bell? Hold on, I got a bell sound.
I mean, well, yeah. Well,
a literal bell sound for you, Josh. All right, appreciate it. Thanks for calling in. Let's go to Austin in Alabama. Austin, how you doing?
What's going on, guys?
Awesome, what's up, buddy?
Y'all know me, Duck fan from Bama. We're everywhere.
Yeah.
I got a little two-parter. Yeah, a two-parter. If you was an NFL team, who do you think would be the best fit for Bo Nix? And do you think Dan Lanning can be the guy to bring the first national championship to Oregon in years to come?
All right, your second question, I'll answer it. Yes, I do think Dan can. I think Dan was the best coaching candidate available when Nick Saban, I say available, that Alabama was interested in. I do believe he will. And I think what they're doing at Oregon translates to the Big Ten better than any of the teams that are going into the Big Ten this next year. As far as fit for Bo Nix, I think there's a lot of them because obviously Bo Nix has a lot of experience. He's not going to be overwhelmed by a pro-style system. We've seen him take snaps from under center, and he's a guy that again has seen a lot of fronts, seen a lot of coverages. Now, as far as being able to make every throw, he's got the arm strength to do it. I think Bo Nix, to me, I almost get. Do I think Bo Nix is going to be an elite NFL starter? No, I don't. I actually would use more of the Sam Howell comp for Bo Nix.
Because Bo's a lot better runner
than I would for Sam Howell?
Yeah.
Sam Howell's a really good runner.
Dude, Sam Howell's an okay runner.
Sam Howell can run.
Running.
What?
No, Bo Nix is running. Sam Howell's not good as a good
I'm going to take
but
Sam Howell scrambling over Bo Nix scrambling. I would. I think Sam Howell's more willing to scramble.
No, you wouldn't.
You're saying I would that I wouldn't.
Bo Nix?
I said Sam Howell. Quarterback for the Commanders.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't look. It's early. Maybe you should live this one, but I just think Bo Nix is a good runner of the ball. I don't think he's so far above Sam Howell that separates him. I think Bo will fit in a lot of organizations. You're not going to have any problems with Bo Nix off the field. He's going to handle business. He's going to do what you ask of him. I wonder what the ceiling is from his playmaking ability in the NFL. We'll see it. I think he can. I think Bo will be fine.
He could be a good pro.
It's a lot of different organizations.
I think he could be a good pro. How about this for a spot? What if he stays in the Pacific Northwest and gets drafted by Seattle? Don't need to start right away. Gino's got some mileage left. But if you had to start right away, Bo Nix has plenty of years and plenty of experience. He could step in. That roster is just getting stronger and stronger. I hate to see Pete Carroll not be the head coach, so they got to get that figured out. But Bo Nix could do well in Seattle.
It's just a weird fit to me. I don't know why. Something about Bo Nix in Seattle is just weird to me.
What would be a good fit to you?
The two teams I'm looking at, one of them might sound crazy. All right, the first one I would say the Broncos.
Okay.
I feel like you have a young offensive line. You have good pieces at receiver.
I can see Sean Payton.
I like Sean Payton. And, under center. And another team, the New York Giants. I think Bo Nix would be a good piece for the New York Giants. And look, I know you need receivers. The Giants need a lot.
Yeah.
All right. It's going to be hard not to take Joe Alt if he is there if you're the Giants. But I think Bo Nix right now is a guy who can move around in the pocket. He's a guy who can create with Saquon Barkley. I feel like Bo would be a good fit with the Giants.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Austin, is there one in your mind that stands out?
I was thinking the Broncos as well.
I like Broncos.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
That does the Sean Payton, Bo Nix. That, by the way, I saw Patrick Nix before we walked out to practice the Senior Bowl yesterday. They're obviously really, really excited. Kai, you go from Oregon to Auburn, from Auburn to Oregon, now sitting here at the Senior Bowl. I'll be interested to see where Bo goes. That's what I'm going to find the most interesting, like where he's picked at.
Yeah. Appreciate it, Austin. Thank you, man.
Appreciate it, Austin. Great call, man.
Call in next week. All right, we got Jack on the line, and Jack is down there with you guys in Mobile.
Yeah, yes, sir, Jack.
Good morning.
What's up, dude?
Hi, guys.
Oh, yeah. Man, I tell you what, I went to Winsel's last night. Got some oysters, Monterey.
God, it's the weather down here, man.
Which, if you don't know, they're obviously not raw. They're jalapeno bacon, cheddar cheese.
Yeah.
Oysters. Yeah.
Sunny out. 6 o'clock in the morning. Sunny can't beat it.
Why didn't y'all call me?
Why didn't y'all call me?
I know, dude. I sent Did the pigeon not make it to your house?
Yeah, I mean, did you not see the note on the pigeon's foot?
Yeah, there should be a white dove flying around your house.
I don't know. He does have a drinking problem.
Yeah. Well, Blaine, first of all, thanks for making my day saying Bo Nix together the Giants. I really appreciate that. And as an Auburn fan and Giants fan, that'd be full circle for me.
That would be so full circle.
But, yeah. Feels like it fit.
Oh, yeah. But focusing on Auburn, I would grade the Durkin hire as honestly an A, because you get a talented coach and a good recruiter, great recruiter, and Blaine won't shut up about Auburn for another 6 months, or probably till next year.
Well, hey, you know what I find interesting, Jack? For the people that were hating on the Durkin hire, number one, you have to understand it's DJ Durkin's joining Charles Kelly and a staff of guys that have a lot of experience. So it's not just him. But they talk about DJ Durkin's past. And look, there's some things in DJ Durkin's past. But how can on one hand Nick Saban hire everybody that's ever had a problem off the field on the coaching staff to resurrect their career, whatever it is, right? And he's the patron saint of the coaching.
Trying to fix them, Jake.
Yeah, Hugh Freeze hires DJ Durkin. Everybody's like, see, this turned into Gotham City.
Because Nick Saban won 7 national championships.
Like DJ Durkin has a ton of experience. He knows the lay of the land. He's not going to be, surprised by anything that he sees. He knows how to prepare the guys. It was a good hire on a staff that, you add Will Redmond from LSU, which was a really good add. And you pair DJ Durkin with Charles Kelly. I just find it kind of a little bit hypocritical of some fan bases, but that's part of it. Everybody makes fun of each other's coaches. That's kind of how it works. But no, I thought it was a
I don't know if I want to live in
well.
a society where we can't make fun of each other's coaches.
Yeah, why could we not? That would be the worst.
That's like the funnest part.
That is the most fun.
Yeah.
So Jake, what do you expect Auburn to do differently scheme wise with DJ Durkin as a DC?
Well, with Ron Roberts, you had a lot of organized chaos, right? Ron gave you a lot of different looks. His exotic pressure package was about as exotic as it gets. I think what you're going to see from Auburn, and Charles Kelly has a little hand in this too. I want to make sure that we give him his props. I think you're going to see, not that Auburn's not going to pressure as much, right? I know Ron wanted to get after you, but I think you're going to see Auburn rush 4 a lot more, without bringing pressure for a couple reasons. One, I think they'll feel more confident about having guys that can get there. Folk's got another year. I know you're losing Marcus Harris, but McLeod's coming back. You've developed some young guys, right? But on third and passing is what I'm looking at, because Ron Roberts would bring the funk, right? He'd bring it from depth. He'd bring it from the boundary. He'd bring it from the field. I think DJ and them are not that they're going to play it more conservative, but I think you're going to see a lot more true 4-man pass rushes with the coverage melted in behind it. I'm interested to see how much 2-man they run on third and more than 6 as well. But what I like is the versatility of what DJ Durkin has done in his past, what Charles Kelly has done in his past. You're going to have an answer for everything, and I don't think it's going to be overly aggressive, which I know kind of sounds soft when you're going from a defensive side, but sometimes the most aggressive play is not blitzing, as crazy as that sounds.
Jack, before you go, tell us, since you're a Giants fan, who do you want the Giants to take in the first round?
I don't know, because you sort of address your wide receiver problem, but not really. But I just don't know that there's all that's going to be available, or all that's going to be worth taking at 6, I believe. One thing that stands out to me as hopefully a young coach is offensive line effort was lacking. And I like to see us getting this tackle, one that has a big head on his shoulders and not going to tell fans to go flip burgers at McDonald's. So,
well, also it'll help when y'all have offensive linemen that aren't making fun of the working class in New York as well.
Yeah, so you're sitting at 6, okay, and if you're a Giants fan, Because you got to think Caleb will probably be gone.
Yeah.
Drake will be gone. You're thinking Jane Daniels will be gone.
At 6?
I think Jane Daniels will be gone at 3.
Really?
Yeah, I think the Patriots are going to take Jane.
I think that all depends on what the Bears do. I think that all depends on what the Bears do.
So you're probably the most realistic decision you have at 6. You got to go offensive lineman receiver. Right? You have to. You have to. If Joe Alt is on the board, you take Joe Alt. All right? And if you're going to take anybody else, you give me Malik Neighbors from LSU, who's going to be a guy we can believe in for the next 5 years.
Yeah, no, I love Malik. It'll be interesting. That's for sure, Jack.
Thanks, Jack. Call in next week, buddy.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate
let's
it, Jack.
go to Kirk in Canada. Kirk, how are you?
Kirky, Skyhook.
Call from Canada.
Hey, boys. Oh, man.
What's up, man?
What's up, Bass?
Hey, good to hear from you. That first caller, I just want to say as a Canadian, you guys, hopefully you realize how blessed, how fortunate you are to have a constitution, because Canada doesn't. I don't think any other country on planet Earth has one.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. I'm excited about that idea. that and the Keurig, the two best things we did.
Our Fuhrer literally stood up not long ago and said, "We don't have a Second Amendment. You have no right to defend yourself." He literally said that out loud.
He said, "Our Fuhrer."
Did you say our Fuhrer?
Oh, my bad. Little slip of the tongue there. Anyway, I probably have my bank account frozen for that one. But
It's
you're
not
already broke. Look outside.
We'll never get to you, Kirk.
Yeah, we'll never get to you now.
Yeah, we'll never get to you.
Anarchy 99.
I got a dilemma, boys. Like, I can't stand this Marxism, woke garbage. And the head coach of my favorite team since 1996, Gerard Mayo, stands up and gives his little woke speech, and I'm really torn here. I mean, I stuck with them when they got rid of Brady. They could have offered him a contract. They never even bothered. And then they part ways with Belichick, and I was still on board.
Are you in the transfer portal, Kirk?
I think so. My question is,
Kirk's in the NFL transfer portal.
Am I losing my mind here by wanting to?
No. Look, hashtag hold the Mayo. Like that. We need to get that trending after that. So is your question, who should I root for now, since you're in the NFL fan transfer portal?
Well, no, I think I was a massive Barry Sanders fan, and if I do switch, I'm going over to the Lions, I think.
Wow.
But,
it's a good time. It's a good time, Kirk.
You can't go over to the Lions now.
You got a lot of David Cohn in you.
You can't.
A lot of David Cohn. You switched to the Rangers because of similar circumstances.
Maybe the Rangers won because
special.
I switched. Maybe they should be thanking me and maybe send me a check.
Why don't you ask Tennessee fans that, Dave?
You heard what Ron Slay said. Ron Slay said there's such a problem there. They have a term for it. Volunteer something syndrome. You heard what he said.
Battered syndrome.
Battered ball syndrome.
Battered volunteer.
It's not my fault. Kirk, you be a fan of whoever you want, Kirk.
We'll call it the David Cohn effect.
Even though I will say, if you're a fan of a franchise that won 6 Super Bowls and you rode that wave, and now the first time they have a new coach, you're already switching, man.
And not only are you switching from the Patriots, you're going to the Lions.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I love it, Kirk.
That's so much I can't stand all this woke racism garbage. To be honest with you, it's pretty bad. But anyway,
where are we without our principles?
Welcome to it.
Where are we without our principles?
Yeah.
I love it. Thanks, man. Call in next week.
I don't see points on a scoreboard.
And they're not good anymore, so I'm switching. All right, 2 more. Let's get to them. Let's get to them quickly. Gary in Utah. You got 30 seconds, Gary. How you doing?
Hey, what's
Gary.
going on, guys? Hey.
What's up, brother?
Real quick, I just wanted to talk about my Saints. I wanted to get your guys' take on who you guys think will be best, will be coming in the draft. I personally hope that we could trade somebody and also go higher in the draft and get Jaden Daniels. and because I think that he could be the NFL equivalent of a Steph Curry, and so especially with the way the league is changing and everything. So I really, really hope that somebody on the Saints is listening, that like, hey, if we can trade up and get like a Jaden and hope like a Malik or somebody falls later in the first draft for us again. So, but I also want to get your guys.
Gary, first off,
like, that is best.
But that comp, that's a very interesting comp, Gary. It's number one. You need to call in more. I already like the way this call is going, but tell everybody who the Saints, what pick they have. Blaine.
14.
They're at 14. So here the question becomes now. Look, Derek Carr's there, right? We know with the Saints that's been kind of the play going forward. I'm shocked. I'm going to be honest with you, Gary. I'm shocked Dennis Allen's still there. Right, and we got some great Saints guys right here next to us with T-Bob and double pits to Hesty, Jacob Hester over here. But the question becomes, if you're going to make that move with Jaden Daniels, is that a future? Like, is that we want to get this guy, let him sit behind Derek Carr because he's going to be our guy in the future? I don't think that would work with Derek Carr. Like, I think if you bring anybody, I think Derek Carr.
It's not working already.
Hey, we're paying you $50 million. You'll make it work, Derek.
No, I think Derek Carr will go up and cry at a press conference. That's what I think will happen.
That regardless.
Like that's what I think will happen.
Gonna do that.
So if you're going to go get Jaden Daniels at 14, then you've had to find a way to get.
You're not getting Jaden Daniels at 14, no way, so you're going to have to move up.
So I'm talking about just for them to take a quarterback like Jaden, not even where their draft pick is, but like I would be shocked if I saw that. I mean, you can hope on hope, but if you're the Saints, man, where are you going? I mean, you look at receiver, you got to feel pretty good about that.
I mean, Michael Thomas is a shell of himself, right? He's not the same guy.
Olave's a dog. You know what you have with Taysom Hill, the Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, true, but I mean, it comes down, if you're going to stick at 14, it comes down to what's available. If you can get I'm always the type of guy, if I can get a tackle, I'm going to take him.
Yeah, Gary, he's going to really just get y'all gassed up for a tackle.
If Joe Alt's there at 14, which I don't think he will be, I will go with Joe Alt. If not, there's another guy. If Brock Bowers is sitting at 14 and you're a Saints fan, right, I'm taking him.
Gary, what do you think? Brock Bowers, Taysom Hill, same team?
I'd take Brock Bowers. I'm not big on Taysom, and I also don't want Derek Carr contaminating Jaden. So I take Brock.
Do you see what I mean, though? Yeah, do you see what I mean? I don't think that Derek Carr.
You would have to give up, so you're going to have to, if you're going to want Jaden Daniels, okay, you're going to have to move up into the top 3 picks.
You think this man's going top 3?
Jaden Daniels. I think Jaden Daniels will go top 3.
You think Jaden Daniels is going top 3?
I think it'll be the 3 either.
So what do you think the Bears are going to do then?
I think they draft Marvin Harrison.
You think they're going to draft Marvin Harrison Jr.?
At the first overall pick.
Caleb is the first overall pick.
Yes.
So Caleb Williams, Drake May are still on the board, and you think Jaden Daniels is going top 3? Bro, I think it's either smoking that Wonka, man.
It's either 6. I don't think Jaden makes it past 6. I don't think he makes it past the Giants. Right now, if the Bears are going to take anybody, they're going to, other than Marvin, it's going to be Caleb, obviously. 2, Commanders were sitting with Drake May. 3, Patriots. The Patriots will take Jaden Daniels if he is there.
We'll see. Gary, man, call in again, brother.
Appreciate it, Gary. Thank you. All right, let's get one more here. We got Kevin in Pennsylvania. Kevin, how you doing?
I'm good, fellas.
Kevin,
how we doing?
P-Town.
Good, man.
What's up, Kev?
Brother? How are you?
I'm good. So 2 things I want to talk about real quick. What's the deal with Arthur Smith's Steelers, and why does every football team forget how to play football against the Kansas City Chiefs?
Yeah,
dude.
Do.
Hey, look, I've told you my theory on this, Kevin. I think Patrick Mahomes is Pennywise, because look, it's amazing. He just feeds on the fear of the other. Like everybody just panics when they play the man. Josh Allen late, Lamar Jackson the whole game. Sometimes guys just don't like seeing the clown in the gutter, and I think that's what they see with Patrick Mahomes. It's the what did we say the other day? It's the Tiger Woods effect, right? It's not just that he can go out there and ball and play well enough to beat everybody. It's he goes out there and intimidates you to the point where you mess up, right? Tom Lehman in the water, right? In Pebble Beach. I've seen this a million times. he almost throws you out of your element while thriving in his element. I just think that's a natural gift that some guys have. And what I said about Arthur Smith earlier, it's amazing how much better a guy does when he's a chef if he can just make his best meal over and over again. And when it comes down to what Arthur Smith does best, outside of having rich parents, it's offense. That is his best meal. If he's a chef, offense is his best dish. And if he can just focus on cooking his best dish, not having to worry about the appetizers, not having to worry about the desserts on defense and special teams, just focus on offense, then it comes down to what Blaine said. Do you believe in Kenny Pickett? Yeah. I don't right now. I don't.
Hard to.
It's hard to.
If you're Arthur Smith, the good thing about it, if you're Arthur Smith, it can't get worse than Matt Canada.
No, that's true.
It cannot get worse than Matt Canada. So you already, look, if you average 10 points a game,
it's the Iowa
You're
thing.
Basically the Warriors.
It's somebody said the other day, I would hate to take the Iowa offensive coordinator job. I wouldn't. All we got to do is get 6 first downs a game, and I'm the smartest guy that ever lived.
I would absolutely love it. And when it comes down to the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs lie to everybody during the regular season.
Yeah.
But see, they've balled out
they
during regular season.
I think they do. I think Andy Reid just has a little book somewhere that says playoffs.
Well, you saw what George Kittle said about Shanahan. Said he calls plays he knows not going to work just so the defense defense has to chart it. Like I'm telling you, people don't realize the wizarding world that goes into what
head coaches are insane people.
They're insane people.
They are insane people. They plot
all day.
They plot all day in a dark room with Zens. Right? If you're in a dark room with Zens, you're for more than 6 hours.
Yeah, for sure.
You're plotting.
Call more ladies.
Yeah, that's what you're doing.
Well, fellas, I'll tell you, as a
what do you think,
Kev? Fan, that Matt Canada thing was just almost unbearable. Me and my dad just had that television stare for 3 hours of a Steelers game, and it was just unbearable.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So I mean,
it was bad.
13 game this year. That'll be nice, but. We'll see what happens. Hey, I'm on the Kenny Pickett train.
Look, I do.
I'm on the Kenny Pickett train.
Yeah, Look, I hope you're right, Kevin. I hope you're right. I like Kenny Pickett. I like cancel slide. I like the way he plays the game. It's just, can he stay healthy? That's what worries me.
It's that, and there's a lot of egos walking around that offense side of the ball for the Steelers right now.
A lot of it's can he stay healthy. But Kevin, we appreciate it, man. Call in again,
man.
All right, buddy. David. I want to get to bets. I can't physically walk over to the bet board. So we're just going to do this just straight off the top.
Let's do it.
I know it's today's what, the 31st. I'm pretty much out of this month. All right, but I'm going to get the good juju going for next month. Tonight, give me Purdue minus 13.5 at home against Northwestern, and then give me Georgia, Bama over 166. That's at minus 112. So that Purdue bet is minus 13.5. That's at minus 105. And then give me Georgia, Bama over 166. Yeah.
Tony?
I love it. All right, I'm going to take Purdue and the Northwestern over 142.5. That's minus 112. Both those teams averaging a bunch of points. And then Auburn at home against Vanderbilt. Give me the Tigers minus 17.5, and that's minus 118.
Oh, we need it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, guess what I'm going to do, David? I'm going to go in the complete opposite direction. Give me Vanderbilt plus 17.5. I've been doing that the entire year, so they still cover. Give me Northwestern plus 13.5 on the road versus Purdue. I do think they keep it.
All right, we've got it all covered. We'll get Aces bets out there. All right, let's get the booster cup before we wrap up here.
Donos real quick. Cantorius with the $5 donation. Appreciate it, brother. It says, it pains me to say as an Oregon alum and a Lions fan, but Bo Nix screams Minnesota Vikings.
See, I've heard that one before, and I like that fit.
Yeah.
I do like that fit.
I think Penix.
I do like that fit. Indoors, too? Come here, girl.
Yeah. Let's go to Heartbroken Hog, $2 donation. She says, as a Packers fan, I'm praying they keep Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm telling you, be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for with this Justin Fields, man. I'm just telling you, be careful what you wish for.
Let's go to Eric Kasky with the $5 dono. Eric, appreciate it, man. He says, how are my Buckeyes looking at the Senior Bowl so far?
Man, I tell you what, I was watching Hall Rush go through bag drills yesterday. It looked really, really good. Ohio State's got cats every single year. I'm going to keep my eye on a little bit on a couple of them today as well.
All right, let's go to Matt Stivers with the $10 donation. Matt, appreciate it. He says, you can't open the floodgates without a dam. CNC, Pate State, and Staples for the ultimate CFB commission.
Yes.
Who in their right mind would say no to
It's the old Michael Scott win-win-win. If I ever seen it. We need to put a commission together. I'm talking about the one that lied to y'all about JFK.
I was going to Chase Mills with the $5 donation. Appreciate it, man. It says, boys, I'm going to need a Tyler Gutton update.
Yeah.
Playing his way into being a late first-rounder. Bill Bedenbaugh does it again.
Yeah.
He's a tackle, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, he's a tackle. No, he looked huge. Like, people, y'all don't realize. It's like going to an NBA
Marshall's
game.
got a thing here that's playing guard. You remember seeing him at David, like, listen, like, for real, like that movie Where the Wild Things Are, it's a true story. We found one of them yesterday. He plays guard for Marshall. Like, how did y'all, I don't know how y'all how y'all lost the game.
I don't know. I was watching T-Bob freak out over here.
I think Lightning's getting closer.
All right, let's get a poll.
Who
is the best quarterback?
Me.
At the Senior Bowl. Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr., Sam the Perfect Hair Hartman, or Spencer Never Get Rattled Rattler.
The Rattler Snake. Give me, that's how they say Bo Nix, 41%.
You know what? How about the guy that decided to do an interview with us? Give me him, Sam Hartman.
There you go.
I love that. He didn't win.
He won in my heart.
Let's go to, yeah. Sam Hartman, 5%. Spencer Rattler, 6%. Bo Nix, 33%. Penix Jr., 56%.
Nice. Smart audience. We got a smart audience. All right, David. Well, hold it down there in Nashville for us. Give Darby Laura love. Good luck, everything there. I know you're going through the travel ban. Thank you, guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button in the chat. You always keep it hot. We and fresh. We appreciate that.
And fresh.
Hot and fresh.
You didn't know where that one was going.
Yeah, that was going to take a left turn down Weird Street real quick. We appreciate y'all. Check out, grab some merch too as well. Got some great hoodies up that are live in the merch store. And like us, being in Nashville right now, we're going, gone.